everybody, it's the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to another episode of DCAU Update. If you are new to my channel, let me just say welcome. It is a pleasure to have you. And for all of you returning, I know that you're all excited to discuss another chapter in the DC Universe animated film library. And we're definitely going to be talking about an interesting one because we are now officially in the next chapter of this ever-growing film library that has definitely been a real treat to animation and DC comic book fans. And we are going to be discussing today the 38th film. I cannot believe that we are approaching 40, and we will have 40 plus films by the end of 2021 here, and that of course is Superman, Man of Tomorrow, starring Darren Criss, Zachary Quinto, Alexandria Daddario, and Ike Amati. So, when I first heard that Superman, Man of Tomorrow was actually happening, I wasn't necessarily sure what it was going to be. I mean, look, I was very happy to see that we were going to be getting another Superman movie this year, because Superman Red Son was definitely one of the more interesting and thought-provoking films that we got in this library. And I was curious to see if it was going to be a standalone film, or if it was in fact going to be a brand new chapter in the storyline that they had just concluded with Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Maybe we would see something like a DC Rebirth sort of storyline, because, you know, me being very invested in DC Rebirth now, I would have loved to see something like that happen in this animated world. But it turns out that Superman Man of Tomorrow is a standalone, and there is no doubt that you can truly identify it as being a standalone, because it really is one of the more interesting and thought-provoking and most original of the entirety of this library, because this one, while it is based on the Superman lore that we all know, it was definitely something that was reshaped for a new age to give a whole new generation an origin of Superman. Now, I like the film that they have in this library already, All-Star Superman, because of the fact that it stands out and it's very different amongst the others. But Superman Man of Tomorrow does fall somewhere in the middle for me. It's not necessarily bad, but I definitely have to give the studio credit in the direction that they went, because they really did do a lot of interesting things for this film. We'll start off with Superman himself. You know, he starts off as Clark Kent, discovering, thanks to his parents, that he is not of this world, and then we see him going to Metropolis and trying to make his way at the Daily Planet, and of course at the same time, since he has these powers, he knows that he has to put them to good use, and he wants to be a savior. But it's not because of the fact that he just wants to be a hero. It's because of the fact that he is very worried about himself, because he knows that he is not human. He knows that when people discover who he truly is, they're not necessarily going to like him, and they're most likely not even going to trust him. And then he encounters a whole bunch of different obstacles, and they literally start coming at him rapid fire. He encounters an alien bounty hunter named Lobo. He finds an ally in another alien in John Jones, aka the Martian Manhunter. He also finds himself going head-to-head with Lex Luthor. And of course, he also encounters a nice guy who ends up just being at the wrong place in the wrong time, and he becomes the nemesis of Superman, known as Parasite. So there is a lot of good in this movie. I definitely will say that one of the more interesting things about this film is the animation. I mean, if there's any way that you could possibly tell people that we want this movie to stand out on its own, the animation definitely will be an example. Now, it starts off a little bit crude and a little interesting. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, because it really is something completely different, but then as the movie really goes into it, you forget that the animation style is just that different. I also really appreciated a lot of the bold messages that they sent in this movie, because what they really did was they wanted to take Superman's story and really make it relevant to today's social issues. There's definitely a lot of undertones talking about the other and xenophobia and you don't belong here, and especially when it comes to Superman, we really see what's going on in his mind, especially from the very beginning, because we get a very interesting scene where he's watching an alien film from the 1950s, and he's sitting with his good friend Pete Ross, and he cries when he sees the alien, and it's not because he's scared. It's because he knows now that he is not human, and he doesn't know what's going to happen to him. And even when he encounters people as Superman, and people do seem to look up to him, even Lois Lane, who is a hotshot intern becoming a reporter at the Daily Planet, he still realizes that it's going to take a lot more than just saving people or rescuing a kitten from a tree. Even when he and the Martian Manhunter do see that they have something in common, being aliens and all, J'onn J'onzz really makes an understanding with Superman, saying, yes, we are aliens, but the difference between you and me is that you have a much easier time hiding your true identity because you look like them. That's definitely something that we're talking about a lot these days. And the other interesting positive about this film is the fact that when you take a look at all the individual characters, there are some that are definitely truly good. Superman, you know he's good, even though he's having some self-doubt. Lois Lane, we know she's also good as well. But then when you take a look at Lobo and the Martian Manhunter and Lex Luthor and Parasite, they're not necessarily truly evil. I mean, especially with Lex Luthor, even though he is Superman's nemesis, there's a point during this film that we actually do see them fighting side by side. And the Martian Manhunter, even though we know he is one of the DC heroes, he is someone that doesn't necessarily trust the human race, so he doesn't necessarily think he wants to even be a hero. Lots of things to really think about in this film. The negative thing that I would say about the film is definitely the whole story with Parasite. I mean, Parasite is more than some kind of a Godzilla kaiju type character, which is what they really made him in this film. Rudy Jones as a human form, they definitely gave him a little bit of a backstory, but I really wanted to see Parasite be a little bit more than just a monster in this film. I understand the reason as to why they made Parasite the character that he was in this movie, but people who know who Parasite is, that's not usually what we want Parasite to be. And of course, we do have Lobo. I do think that Lobo was definitely one of the better parts of this film because he was funny as hell, and that's just Lobo. Lobo is an unconventional character, was never meant to fit a certain type of hero or villain. He's just there to be a presence and just take over the screen whenever he is on it. So, in summation, Superman Man of Tomorrow is definitely an enjoyable film, not the best, but definitely not the worst, but it is definitely a positive thing in regards to a landmark film readying us for a brand new chapter of DC animated films, because now I know what's coming in the 2021 lineup. There are definitely some interesting stories on the way. The next film is definitely one that I think a lot of people are sort of excited about, but possibly terrified about all at the same time. And it's only because of the fact that it's Batman in the 1970s. Take that as you will. But at the end of 2021, there's going to be another two-part Batman film that a lot of people are excited about because it is based on one of the best and most beloved Batman stories in comic book history. Which one is it? I'm not going to tell you, but I'm sure you can find out for yourself. So yeah, Superman Man of Tomorrow, a good addition. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this movie if you've seen it, so leave your comments in the box below. And I'll see you in the next DCAU update. Take care. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.